A profound silence has fallen over the Hollywood hills. Today, the world witnesses the final, sorrowful tribute to a woman who was less an actress and more a living statement, Diane Keaton. Family, friends, and the towering figures of modern cinema and comedy are gathering in Los Angeles to bid farewell to the icon whose style, wit, and vulnerability changed everything. The air is thick, not just with the scent of lilies and rain, but with a palpable sense of loss, a loss that feels deeply personal, even to those who only knew her on screen. This is not a gathering for a star, it is a gathering for a true original. The black limousines begin their slow, dignified procession. First, the private grief of her family. Dexter and Duke Keaton, her children, adopted in her 50s, representing the ultimate choice she made for love and independence. They emerge, their posture a portrait of quiet devastation. Dexter holds her younger brother's hand, her composure visibly straining. They carry small bunches of white lilies, a stark contrast to the black tailoring that defines their sorrow. For the children, this isn't the ending of a legend, it is the loss of home. As they proceed to the historic venue, one truth is inescapable. Diane Keaton's death wasn't merely the end of a career, it was the closing of a chapter on authenticity in Hollywood. She stood for the flawed, brilliant, and unconventional woman, and that spirit is now gone. The true weight of her loss is first felt in the arrival of her great enduring loves. Al Pacino, the man she called the love of her life, he arrives alone, his face etched with a silent, profound sorrow. Pacino and Keaton's bond, forged on the set of The Godfather and maintained over 5 decades, was a relationship of opposite forces: the brooding, intense Michael Corleone and the spontaneous, chaotic Kay Adams. It was Pacino's inability to commit that ultimately ended their romance, and today, as he stands at the door, the public can only speculate on the lifetime of what-ifs that hang heavy in the air. And then, Woody Allen, the man who made her a legend, the director who knew her artistic soul better than anyone. His arrival is discreet yet seismic. For Allen, Diane wasn't just a partner. She was his muse, his comedic foil, and the woman whose nervous brilliance he captured in Annie Hall. Without her, the world is, as he himself put it, a drearier world. The camera focuses on the faces of 2 men who had their chance to be her husband, now forced to say their final goodbye as friends. Their grief is a silent, unwritten script of a love that defied commitment, but never truly died. The processional continues, charting the course of Keaton's diverse, brilliant career. The sisterhood of the First Wives Club arrives as a phalanx of shared strength. Bette Midler and Goldie Hawn, the trio of powerhouse women who became an iconic symbol of later-life female empowerment. They arrive arm in arm, black gloves meeting on the red carpet. Midler's usually theatrical persona is subdued, almost broken. Midler's tribute, already posted online, called Keaton a complete original, completely without guile. But seeing them here together, the weight of their 3-decade friendship is staggering. As they pause before the door, Midler wipes a tear from Hawn's cheek, a moment of raw, unfiltered, heartbreaking sisterly grief that few could have anticipated. Then came the family of the wholesome hit. Father of the bride, Steve Martin and Kimberly Williams Paisley. The funny man, Steve Martin, looks older, more fragile than his perpetually manic on-screen persona. Williams Paisley, who played her daughter, is visibly shaking. Their relationship was perhaps her most comforting public image, the anchor of a perfectly messy, loving family. Their presence highlights the versatility of Keaton, the way she could seamlessly transition from the dark intensity of The Godfather to the light comfort of a Nancy Meyers comedy. But this event is a magnet for all who were touched by her unique light. Robert De Niro, her occasional co-star from Marvin's Room and a contemporary of the new Hollywood era, arrives, his expression one of shocked sadness. He was not expecting her to leave them. And then, the true surprise of the day, Jack Nicholson. The icon of eternal cool and bravado, Nicholson rarely attends public events, especially one so soaked in grief. He arrives but stays apart for a moment, simply nodding to the security detail. It is a profound act of respect for the woman whose chemistry with him in Something's Gotta Give was so electric, it single-handedly revitalized the careers of both actors. Nicholson's solitary, somber presence speaks volumes. Even the most hardened hearts in Hollywood are breaking today. The mystery of Diane Keaton was always her guarded privacy. A woman who never married, she chose independence and authenticity over convention. She had her long-term relationships with Pacino, Allen, Warren Beatty, but ultimately chose to live life on her own terms. The internet is already buzzing about the family drama. While her adopted children are present, the notable absence of her former partner and friend, Warren Beatty, is being scrutinized. Beatty and Keaton's relationship, chronicled in her memoir, was intense and competitive, ultimately ending because she realized she wanted to be Warren Beatty, not love him. Was his absence a final act of privacy? Or does it signal an unresolved tension that lasted to her final days? Sources close to the actress have revealed the shocking speed of her decline. They share that she was funny right up until the end, surrounded by her closest circle, but that her health declined very suddenly. This explains the shock that has rippled through the industry. Few, even her longtime friends, were aware of how quickly she was fading. Her passions, architecture, photography, and design are all referenced in the service's private details. Her casket is draped not just with flowers, but with a vintage scarf and a leather-bound book of her own photography, a testament to the artist who saw the world at a slightly odd, brilliant angle. As the service enters its most intimate phase, the eulogies begin. Mary Steenburgen, a friend and co-star, speaks first, describing Keaton as magic, one of a kind. But the moment that truly brings the room to a devastating silence is the unannounced, unscripted eulogy by Meryl Streep. Streep, who is famously private about her emotions, takes the podium. She is visibly shaking, her legendary composure utterly shattered by the loss of her friend. She was a walking question mark, covered in tweed, and she was the answer to everything I thought I knew about being a woman on screen, Streep says, tears finally streaming down her face. She was our American treasure. That smile, that style, that antic spirit they will live on. But the person who owned them is gone, and the silence is deafening. Streep's raw, profound grief is the moment the composure of Hollywood completely collapses. You can see the giants of cinema around the room, the directors, the actors, the comedians, all dissolving into tears, unified by the honesty of her sorrow. As the service draws to a close, the presiding minister makes one final request. In a deviation from tradition, he asks that the attendees not file out in silence, but instead offer a final tribute befitting her monumental impact. What happens next is unprecedented. The entire room of Hollywood royalty, writers, co-stars, and family rises to its feet for a standing ovation that lasts for nearly 5.5 minutes. It is a roar of love, respect, and gratitude. It is a standing ovation not for a final performance, but for the final, incredible life of Diane Keaton. As the attendees slowly begin to file out, the question remains, what does the loss of Diane Keaton mean for the future of film? Who will dare to fill the space left by her effortless, unique brilliance? She proved that vulnerability could be a superpower, that you could find success without sacrificing your identity, and that true style is a personal shield. The woman who once famously said, "I'm hardly iconic, I just get up in the morning and have to feed the dog," has taken her final, humble bow. But her legacy, a tapestry woven with quirky humor, groundbreaking dramatic depth, and an undeniable singular influence, does not simply endure. It actively continues to shape the very foundations of the entertainment world she helped construct. Her signature style, that revolutionary blend of masculine tailoring and feminine vulnerability, remains an active blueprint on runways today. Her famous laugh, that hesitant, almost nervous sound, is an anthem of emotional honesty. Her ultimate refusal to be anything but authentically herself is a lesson in power that will never, ever fade. She gave women permission to be complex, intelligent, and a little bit messy, and for that, she is immortal. If witnessing this emotional final tribute moved you, if you felt the same profound, crushing sense of loss that rippled through those Hollywood giants inside that sacred church today, then show your solidarity. Please smash that like button right now and subscribe to join our community for more exclusive, untold stories of Hollywood's true and complicated legends. We want to hear from you. Which Diane Keaton film defined her brilliance? Was it the dramatic turn of The Godfather, the comedic genius of Annie Hall, or the late-life romance of Something's Gotta Give? Share your most cherished memory of her work in the comments below. Until we meet again to explore the next chapter of cinema history, remember this truth: the iconic, enduring spirit of Diane Keaton, the woman who dared to wear a tie to the Oscars, will truly live forever.